Welcome to PL Together Lounge Talks. I'm Adam Geller, founder and CEO of Edthena. Today, we're talking with Jim Knight, continuing the conversation with him about instructional coaching, and now one of his books and one of his ideas that he's been talking about for quite some time, the idea of using video with instructional coaching. Jim, thanks so much for joining us.
It's great to be here.
So, your book is called Focus on Teaching. I want to make sure to mention that. But before we even get to the what's happening right now type context, why should video be part of professional learning and instructional coaching? If you're someone out there that's like on the fence still about this idea.
Well, I think proof that it works is the fact that there probably isn't a middle school football team in America where they aren't watching video of their performance. And most performers, whatever the work is they do, they're going to look at what they do on video if it involves movement. And we've known that for a long time. Studies at Stanford in the 70s showed the power of video, but it always used to be a real hassle. You had to have this big machine. Some kid had to show you how to use it. Then you had to go watch it in the staff lounge, the video, because they had to plug it into something else. It's just such a hassle, and nobody wanted to do it. And it was expensive, too. Those cameras were like $3,000. And I knew about the power of video. My friend Mike Hoke had done a study where he looked at tutors, and the tutors were trained in this research-based approach, evidence-based approach, to help kids learn strategies as they did their homework. And what he saw was, even though they had really great training, nobody did the evidence-based approach. They just sort of helped the kids do their homework. So he created a checklist, and he video recorded the tutors. And when they watched the video, what they did totally changed. The other thing is, there's a whole number of reasons why we don't have a clear vision of what we do. Perceptual errors like confirmation bias. And then we just have defense mechanisms that keep us from seeing reality the way it is. It would probably be too tough if every day we saw it sort of in its raw nakedness, exactly the things we've screwed up on. So we do things like we blame other people, and we minimize the problem, and we make, for lack of better terms, excuses. We have defense mechanisms. So when you combine perceptual errors like confirmation bias, stereotypes, and defense mechanisms, what we think is happening and what's really happening are really quite different. And when you video record the class, you look at the video, and often you go, man, I had no idea. It's kind of like when you hear your voice on a recording. If you haven't heard it before, it sounds weird. It's like that to the power of 10. And then the other thing is that because we don't have a clear picture of reality, we don't see the need for change often. We've minimized the problem or explained things away, or we don't see it clearly. So, and motivation usually involves some kind of discrepancy between where we are and where we want to get to. This isn't good enough, and I need to improve. So people are more motivated when they see reality because they go, I want more of that or less of this. And what's more, it ensures that they focus on the right things. And when you use video in coaching, it's a dramatically different experience, because then you're just helping the person hit their goal as opposed to trying to force something on them. I'll just say one more thing. I can't stop. We knew about the power of video. Mike Hoke had taught me, but we didn't know what to do about it. And it was just too much of a hassle. And then I was watching the World Cup, and England was in soccer, and England was playing somebody, and Mick Jagger was in the stands, and he had a flip camera. And when I saw that flip camera, I said, we could do this. And 2 weeks later, the coaches we were working with from Oregon, they had their own flip camera, and then we were off. And then, of course, the iPhone came along, and the cellular phone technology, smartphones have kind of replaced the flip camera. But the flip camera was it was Mick Jagger. He's the reason why I wrote the book. That's where it came from.
This interview is about you, not about me, but I love that actually if somebody asked me how I got into what I did, the kind of edgy version of the story definitely involves a musician, but mine is Justin Bieber.
Canadian connection.
That story for another day.
Oh, let's hear the Justin Bieber story.
Oh, all right.
You can edit it out if you don't like it.
No, we're not going to edit it out.
Okay.
So the aha moment for me, realizing that this is before I had ever met you or encountered your work, right? So um, I, geez, what was this? 2009-ish, probably, 2010. Back in the days when you had to send a link for something that was, we didn't have the phrase going viral. I remember there was uh, some blog article somewhere that was like, listen to this Justin Bieber song slowed down 800 times. Uh, and really, it wasn't about the Justin Bieber. It was just about the fact that on this web page, they had embedded the SoundCloud player. And I saw for the first time the idea of having a recorded artifact and having comments tied to a specific moment in time, which is what that SoundCloud player does. And that was really the aha moment. Maybe you didn't need to have someone in the room in order, or even synchronously be talking with an educator to help them understand what was happening in their practice. If you could put together the right tools with the video, you could enable coaching anytime, anywhere, by anyone. So that's how I ended up here,
So
still
it's
talking to you so many years later.
I'm seeing the generational thing here. You, it's Justin Bieber. Me, it's Mick Jagger. I think that there's clearly a generational issue going on here.
At the time, I mean, I definitely have heard Justin Bieber songs at this point, but at the time I would have told you, I don't think I'd heard a Justin Bieber song except for that one. So I'm
I
only
still don't think I
halfway through that door.
Right.
So getting back on track here a little bit, you said, that video, you have this phrase, I know you say, and you said 80% of it just a moment ago, which is video gives folks a clear picture of their current reality. And I really like that phrase and like to credit you with it. I'm curious, as we do think about how teaching has shifted, why is the value of video in some ways increasing, or even more of a obvious must have, or why wouldn't you have it for what instructional coaching will look like?
Well, I think maybe the reason why people don't want to do it, it has to do with, those defense mechanisms. I mean, we think people lack courage. They don't want to see what they want to do, but actually defense mechanisms are really pretty helpful. Life is tough enough as it is. And if you had to carry around everything, every sort of negative thing, it could really be difficult. And so to protect ourselves, we have these defense mechanisms. But the trouble is, to be the educator we want to be, we have to get a clear picture of current reality. Sheila Heen says, our identity is the story we tell ourselves about who we are. And so video is going to mess with that story. And it's going to be hard when you have to change your story about who you are. I mean, it can be really hard. If you think back to a time where, I had a time where I had a meeting with some good friends of mine, and I realized they saw me differently than I saw them. And it took me days to get over that, and I learned, but the thing is, then you learn from it. And you say, oh, well, if I'm not the person I think I am, or if I'm not at least perceived that way, then I need to learn. And learning really is about changing that story. To really feel efficacious, I think, you don't get it by hiding from reality. You get it by cautiously entering into reality so you can get better. So that would be the way I would take it. I think, and I think there are times when you just say, I'm not going to read those evaluations today. I'm not going to look at that because this is just not the day. And other times you're more capable of doing it. But to really become a masterful at what you do, you probably have to see it. I mean, every teacher should be watching themselves on it. Now, I wouldn't force it on people. To me, it's a power tool for learning. I think I respect the discretion of a teacher to choose what they're ready for and what they want to do. But I do believe to really get good at what you do, you have to see it. It's a critical thing.
It also feels like right now, with the adjustments to so many new types of what teaching means, there's even more need for that kind of quick kind of merging between that story you're telling yourself about how things are going and what's actually happening. Because, hey, a lot of us are doing it for the first time, is kind of the place that many educators are finding themselves.
Right. Really important, and yet also scary. I've never used this thing before, and I'm going to try to do it, and parents are watching. It's a scary thing.
All right. Well, we'll continue to talk about how video plays a part in the instructional coaching process. We're going to take a quick break. If you're listening or watching to this interview somewhere out there, head to pltogether.org in order to watch the rest of this lounge talk as well as others. Jim, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for inviting me.